So here we go, Loki episode 2.
This, guys, is our Renaissance Festival. That's what it was so cool
It
about.
looks exactly like
I was
it.
wondering about that.
That makes
No, they
sense.
shot it here. This is just a tent that doesn't exist in the actual.
Yeah, they
And
don't
then they
use
use-
the real world because what a fire hazard, man. They got open flames, hay on the floor, a dark.
And now you're about to hear my favorite song in the world. Short Circuit 2 still remains the best usage of this song in cinema.
better than
serious.
Tractor Race.
I will support that.
They kind of wasted it here because it's like not even.
It's not
Yeah.
even synced to the sort of tempo of the scene, so it doesn't
Yeah,
make
the
a lot
only
of sense.
the tractor thing's dumb, footloose. And Short Circuit, it's like he's racing down the side of the marina, chasing the guy in the boat. It's appropriate. It actually you need movement in this song. Anyways, that's my favorite song in the world. It still
Yeah.
is.
Let's have
also
a
favorite
moment of
song.
silence for Mr. Jim Steinman. I'm going to have questions about this later.
All right, we'll answer them. We're here. That's why we're doing this together.
It does look like the one in listen to
It
me.
is. Where else
does.
would they
It
go?
does look like the one in Georgia. How weird.
He's so good because if he is just totally bullshitting, like it's like this is all created from scratch.
That's why I like. After this one time, they're like, okay, any more shit, then we're just gonna dissolve you. So
We get a lot of focusing on that one.
yeah, I've seen a couple of videos say that too. Like if one of these guys is Kang, it's probably that one.
So Kang's being played by the guy from Lovecraft.
Lovecraft,
Right.
Yeah,
Does that statue look like him? I didn't really get a good look at it.
a
I think that
little.
reel-to-reel
but
player, man.
The face in the courtroom looked a lot more like him, and one of the cartoon dudes looks kind of like him.
Because in the comics, her and Kang are like romantically involved. This character.
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So they're saying
Yeah,
maybe
that's
that
why
other
everybody
Asian is somebody
mistrusts her
else.
immediately. Like she's
I didn't
definitely
know
up to
that.
something.
So maybe Kang's the timekeeper. There aren't.
Yeah.
It's just him.
I love how he's like, and let me explain what happened. He's like, oh, this is a bullshit artist.
I like his physical comedy. Look at
Yeah.
manic
Yeah.
he
Look
is.
at it. And I love how Owen Wilson doesn't care anymore. There's the
There it is.
film.
Marriott. It's so awesome.
That elevator is scary as hell too in real life.
No, it's not.
Have you ridden it in the past like 2 years? Like
Not in the last 2 years. Did it get
just
bad?
3?
Is the building taller?
Is it falling
No,
apart?
I mean they redid it's fast as hell. Like when it goes up,
Oh.
it's super fast.
Oh,
Goes down into this temporal abyss now.
I don't remember
Yeah.
the statues in the Marriott.
They put this in during
They should
the
put
quarantine.
those in during Dragon Con. They should put those back.
Oh, they
Yeah,
should
many-
totally do that. Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
weird that they use paper. They
Yeah,
live in
well,
a
it's
weird
like this-
analog world.
I know it's the kitsch of the show though. That's like the,
Yeah, but it's also interesting.
Well, it's
Yeah.
interesting if you think of the entire TVA may just be some kind of construct, you know? So it has to manifest in some way.
just based on cultural,
I like it too because in a way it makes this timeless. If they were looking at displays in 20 years, just like you watch Star Trek from the 60s now, and the high-tech stuff that looked high-tech then looks ridiculous now.
What's the easiest way to look like there's a bunch of information when there isn't is just
What
make a
does that
giant
say up
library. Giant physical library. What can you have? That's how much information is actually here. Like, you know,
I'm sure there's stuff in all these other files.
maybe.
I mean,
But it's a good
just
way
not
to
about
create an
him.
illusion where it looks like this vast library.
That's
but
totally true. This whole thing could be a construct for Loki. You're totally right.
So the idea is that they can detect a person in the
Variance.
wrong timeline. Like
Well, they can
someone's
detect
not
when
where they're
timelines are
supposed to be.
diverging. Like if you went to a timeline and did something else, they could go
yeah,
beep, beep,
that
beep, 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 beep.
deviation.
I understand that they can hide in places like that, but the reason that they need to hide in those places is just their presence in any other timeline is detectable.
Yes. Well, if they change something inadvertently, yes. But there, they could change anything. Wouldn't matter because the whole thing's all be wiped out.
Because none of those people have futures. So
Yeah, the
Yeah.
whole place physically doesn't
They
have a
can't
future.
see
Yeah.
when you're. They're not looking for deviant behavior. They're looking for deviant outcomes.
Yeah.
I mean, no one's paying attention to them, even though they're speaking a weird language and wearing like crazy.
Yeah.
clothes.
Well, they're Roman or Greek peasants or whatever. They don't really.
Well, to be fair, they didn't notice a volcano erupting, so they're not super observant.
Way to shame the dead.
When he said mentioned
way
bird
to
noises
victim
here,
blame, Sean.
So TSY 372. Oh, I remember. 372 is a Thor issue that where the time variant guys are introduced. I heard that somewhere.
Well, see, this is why this is sort of a classic. I mean, this seems obvious, but this is what we talk about on the show all the time. A classic story where these two characters have to learn something from each other, right?
Well,
You take both their perspectives together, and they're going to learn. He's breaking down.
That's how we're going to crack this case,
right? And he's reining him in some, and he's breaking down his bureaucracy and seeing.
I do like the idea that they may discover through the course of this that there is something sinister about the TVA. I like the theory that maybe all of the agents at the TVA are just variants who are repurposed and they don't remember.
Heard that. Yeah.
Because that would explain why they do that trial thing. Like, what would the trial be for? You know they're a variant. You don't care about their intent.
So they're just trying to get personality or something?
Like, yeah, that you're just, they're just sizing them up.
So Rockcard comes from Roxxon because that's the oil company they've had since Iron Man. It's like Exxon, basically.
Yeah, and they're a big part of the comics.
Who owns Roxxon? Is it a good character or something, or no?
I don't think so. I remember in Thor there was like one of the main Roxxon guys was a Minotaur. That's who I thought Christian Bale was playing in the next Thor movie, but
like all energy companies, it was led by a Minotaur. This part's wild. This is like, what they say, a category 8 or some crap?
Yeah, it's some crazy. Wow.
Good lord. Because how those categories work is each one's 10 times stronger than the one before, or is that earthquakes? I can't remember. So was this Loki intending to get caught by them? Is that why he's like
maybe
looking at the plants?
Seem to care.
That's kind of a weird place for it.
Yeah, it's a TV show, though.
She saw them in the monitor, so she knows where they were walking.
Yeah.
I guess we can go ahead and start talking about this, even though she hadn't made her reveal yet. But is she Loki?
I don't know. There's some discussion about that because she's identified as a different character.
Yeah. Her name in the credits in the Spanish version, which Marvel's done before, was Sylvie, which is
like the Enchantress. Yeah. So,
but that could just be them messing with us.
Or it could be both. It could be this variant Loki is Sylvie in this world.
It's weird that just people just walking around with a category 8 storm outside.
This last year, I believe this scene.
Why did she switch bodies from the armed and armored person to just an employee?
To show that she can.
Well, she already shown that she can.
Well, you're questioning a TV. This is like TV parts. This makes it more dramatic and interesting.
Well, we're trying to give these actors some jobs, man. Is this like a hardware store or what? It's weird because
like
beverages,
it's
small appliances.
It's a Walmart.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're so small. Like these sections are really small.
It's a TV.
I'm just saying, like it's making it look like a small store.
I know, but this is just because it's a TV set. Some of these are just because it doesn't matter.
I can't help but notice this stuff. But see, look, groceries is only that small. It's between cleaning supplies.
But it's just they're just dressed to set. This is.
Maybe they were miles wide. Did you ever think about that?
Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. So she's there tying the bomb. Then who was? Oh, wait a minute. Who was doing that?
She's puppet mastering
those people. Yeah, she's still got her own body.
I thought when she grabbed somebody, that was her switching into their body.
No, it looks like apparently not.
I was thinking that all these bombs, when she sends them at the end, I thought she was sending them to where the timekeepers are, and it was going to erase that reality.
She does work.
That's what I love. It's like apparently just getting these bombs was a means to an end.
They have Alienware in the future.
Yeah,
made by real aliens, though.
Yeah.
And he has magic. Why isn't he using it? Well, he does there.
He just did.
Magic that Roomba or whatever that is.
I mean, he was going to take on Thanos. You telling me he can't take on Bubba? So she's actually dropping them into different timelines to create nexuses.
Yeah, just to create
to sow chaos for the TVA.
And I guess to have the TVA, it looked like at the end they're emptying out the headquarters because they're sending all their people out. How did it turn red?
Because that's cooler.
Maybe the hurricane alarm went off.
I'm going to go ahead and go on a limb and say that she's the good guy of this series, even though she's killing them like crazy.
If the TVA turns out to be a bad guy, but the killing them, I mean, it's not something a super good guy would do, but if they're all like soldiers fighting for an evil empire.
And the TVA is going to turn out
They're
to be
stormtroopers.
Luke Skywalker didn't have a problem blowing 1 million people up.
They're going to be like a dictatorial kind of thing that they're trying to overthrow, right? Because they're...
Well, they technically are a dictatorial kind of thing. They literally are dictating what should and shouldn't happen in every timeline conceivable in the universe.
I liked it better than the first episode.
Well, I like them for different things. I really liked the way that the first episode established the world. And now we get to see them play around in the story more.
Yeah, it's a little more mystery, which is what I like in my shows.
I mean, I love the first episode. It's my favorite first episode of one of these shows, but now it's just getting good. So
I'm enjoying it.
I thought of you in this one because Brooks was like, yeah, now we actually have... Last time we're like, what is the mystery? I don't know. But now we're like, okay, Timekeeper's real. That's obviously a thing. Where did they go? What's going to happen now? Like, it's so funny that, I mean, I guess
What is she up to?
But the show's not waiting along to be like, okay, she got away. Now him and Loki have to figure out how to... It's like, no, Loki went with her. So like now we're off on a whole nother...
Yeah, what are we going to do with Owen?
Well, yeah, and what is he about? Is he trying to stop her? Is he trying to join her? But one thing I like in these Marvel shows is the runtime is whatever they say it is per episode. So these
are meaty.
Doesn't have to have any filler, because if this episode's 30 minutes, then it's 30 minutes. That's how much story we have for this episode. So there aren't scenes of them just standing around going, what? Ooh, or repeating things or getting into dumb arguments or whatever, like in normal shows.
But these
like
are meaty. This
an hour-long, 22-episode like season is like the worst long-form way of storytelling for TV. That's
if we have these nice
Flash and them are always just fighting over dumb shit.
I think the bigger part of this episode I think that blows wide open is the TVA stuff. And I mean, it's obvious. These things are totally obvious, but I like that it creates this mystery. And now that I want to see, I was scared that maybe obviously they might have addressed it. I wasn't thinking about it, but now that's like they're just calling out a big lie, and they're like, oh, now we're going to address this, and now we're going to the source. We're going to see what all this
that'd be awesome.
Is.
Now, and I like following her, we're going to have to learn a little bit about what she's up to. I mean,
well, this provides a very nice way for the Marvel Universe to this point, if they're going to get into this with Spider-Man and then Doctor Strange and Multiverse and all this stuff, for be like, why wasn't this a problem before? Why weren't there other like 8 Tony Starks before? And like, well, the TVA and these Timekeeper guys have been controlling this till now, and now we've opened it up for. You know what I mean? Now in the future.
Took care of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. problem.
In fact, those bombs might be what happens in Doctor Strange if they had timed it differently. Like Doctor Strange is sitting there and all of a sudden timelines start all over the place.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But that's why maybe because the way they show it that it's bad, but we might really get to a point where they show like there's supposed to be multiverses. They're not supposed to. That's not an evil thing. That's a natural state of the universe, but.
And from what we've already seen, there are. So maybe this is just a propaganda tool altogether. This idea that there is a sacred timeline that they're preserving might not be true at all.
But if they dig deep into this timeline stuff, that's where I know it sounds goofy when we talked about last time how that might be a dumb way to do it, but that is, if they invest in this over Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man and Doctor Strange, and this is really how the world exists now, this Marvel. That is how you can have mutants. That is how you can have X-Men and these other things just pop in without crazy origin stories and other things. You know what I mean? We could do things like that.
I'll give them much kudos if they find a way to make all that make sense. But so far, they're doing a good job. I trust them more than I've trusted any other company of production people. Outside of the Lord of the Rings guys, who then let me down. So no one's infallible. Lucasfilm, I could not have trusted them more. When Phantom Menace came out, I was all on board, and then they let me down.
Everybody lets down, yeah. My parents started watching some of these, and they got through because they were like, I asked her because I thought she'd only my mom had seen. She saw Black Panther in the theater with me. Before they saw that, I was like, I showed her Civil War and tried to explain some stuff beforehand. I was like, so that's Iron, and I showed her bits of. And she liked all that, and I think she's seen. I forgot what she saw. We watched some things, but her and my stepdad they started watching Iron Man and Captain America, and during the pandemic and Thor, and I thought they stopped there. And I asked her the other day, I was like, "So where did you get to?" She's like, "Well, I watched we watched all three Iron Mans and all. I was like, well, you can watch. No, it's like she's like, we watched like all three Thors and all three Captain Americas. I was like, hold on, you're not supposed to watch them like that. It's like if you watch all three Captain Americas, you're gonna be thoroughly confused by like, especially by the like, or three Thors together. I was like, you're not gonna know half of these people are. It's like without watching Avengers, or without watching. Like, do you watch all Iron Mans? Because you could probably watch all three Iron Mans and it wouldn't be a big deal. And she's like, no, we don't watch all. I was like, okay, well.
I think people can piece stuff together. I mean, the story stands.
No, I shamed her and I yelled at her and I told her you shouldn't watch that. That's stupid.
That's gatekeeping. You're gatekeeping is what that is. You're not being a real Marvel fan, Mom.
I'm changing my Disney Plus password, mother.
That first Hulk movie is part of the MCU. Is that settled?
What?
Like
it
the
is.
Edward Norton
Technically,
Hulk movie?
it is. Yeah, they made it.
The MCU?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got Thunderbolt Ross.
It always was.
That actually is one of the bigger misses because it's actually not as fun.
But now, back me up now.
You have a different actor, and
but that's the only inconsistency.
I need to watch.
Well, but the only technical,
they had a different roadie in Iron Man 1. We changed that.
Well, but there's a technicality with that one though, that because there's a reason. Universal did have a big part in that one though.
Yeah, but Ed Norton had a bigger part in not coming back in that role, though.
But what I'm saying is that one is not as fun as these other ones, though, either, though. So it's like...
It wasn't made strictly by Marvel, right?
Right. So, but it is part of this
it's the second
continuity.
It's the second of their Marvel Studios movies, but yeah, they made it with Universal, so it wasn't quite as...
It wasn't the same. It wasn't their method.
Yeah, because Tony Stark is in it.
Yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is at the end of it.
That.
Yeah.
Well, I
gotta watch it again because I don't remember that. But that's weird. You know, I know it costs a lot of money, but it seems doable to me. If it were my universe and I'm a perfectionist, when you were change an actor, if you could just go back and get your new guy and just shoot some stuff and just kind of like replace him in the old movies.
It's kind of disrespectful to the original actor.
But it's also, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I think it's fine for people to
I think the first roadie is fine. He's fine in that. He's good in it, I think. And I like how...
He's good. Yeah, they didn't get rid of him because he wasn't good. They just didn't want to pay him as much money.
Yeah. And I like how they introduced Don Cheadle in the second because they do a great job of him. Like, and Sergeant Rhodey, and they make sure
Cheadle's in my mind, he's a much better actor than...
Well, he's like Academy Award.
Well, I enjoy Don Cheadle more as an actor.
But I like when they bring him in, they make you sure, like, they show that that's him now. This is him. And he comes in, his first line is, yeah, I'm here, get over it. Like, it's me now. Like, because they're like, it's like a meta commentary, so...
That's whole thing is weirder because it's like the main character. It's all right. It doesn't matter. Never mind. Shouldn't have brought it up.
But you can kind of forget about it because also if you think about it, Tony Stark's thing is really weird at the end of that because he mentions I'm Avengers, but by the second Iron Man movie, he has nothing. He has no idea what Avengers he doesn't know who Black Widow is.
For him to say, I got a thing you guys might be interested in.
That's why I don't think it should be part of the MCU. I think it should be like the X-Men and just be like
I think we don't have to relitigate that. I think
it's just Thunderbolt Ross is the only thing that actually ties.
We can all just ignore it and move on. But then Thunderbolt Ross does get introduced in them.
Well, actually, they're bringing what's his name back as Abomination in the She-Hulk show, though.
Oh, that's fun.
Really?
Well, yeah,
that's fun.
What's his name?
Fun idea.
Tim Roth. Yeah, Tim Roth. Yeah.
Tonight. You know the guy in that movie in the 90s?
You know, Rosencrantz or Guildenstern?
The guy that was in all the 90s movies?
Which?
All right, man. There you have it.
Yeah. That's as much as we can say.
Yeah.
We should just hard stop.